Hello everyone, welcome. Today we've got the Sunday Drive die set, we've got the Halloween Sunday Drive, and we've got Sunday Drive with Santa. Now these are 3 die sets that I ordered with the clearance sale from Spellbinders, and I am excited to use this. This is a little bit of a longer video, but we're going to build all 3 of these and we're going to make 3 cards, and these are really fun. So I hope you'll stick around until the end and watch the full video. So I am going to assemble the car completely with the first card so that you can see the assembly of the car. But before we do that, I'm going to create my background panel. And the first one is going to be the happy birthday. And so I thought it'd be fun to bring in these Stampendous party confetti stamp set, and it is a rubber stamp set, so I had to pull out my waffle flower sticky mat, and I'm just going to lay some of this Best Ever craft tape on the bottom of this and stick it to my mat, just the bottom of my Misty, and then we'll bring in that stamp and we'll get stamping out. Now this stamp is actually a 3-piece. You can pull it apart and kind of make different smaller stamps, but I'm just going to use the biggest part of it. It's not going to cover all of it, but it doesn't matter. It's going to work out just fine. I'm going to bring in some of my Distress Oxide inks. I'm looking at the colors, trying to decide which colors I want to use, and I'm going to go with these 3 here. And we're just going to kind of do like an ombre type stamping on here. I'll just take the first one and stamp the top part, the second one stamp the middle, and then the third stamp the bottom. And we'll just have just a variation of color going down this confetti here. And I'll have to stamp it a couple times to get a good inking. And I'll bring in my press tool and just press it down. And you can see the lighter there in the middle, I'm going to need some more ink. So I'll just ink them all up and kind of go in the same fashion that I did the first time around, and then we'll get them stamped up. Now, I did show all these materials in my recent live haul video where I showed all of the things that I purchased from Spellbinders during that clearance. And I mean, many of the things you got for $1, $3. I mean, just awesome sell. And so I couldn't wait to work with this, so I thought I would do it. And I knew it was going to take a lot of die cutting. I mean, I spent a lot of time die cutting for this, and so I didn't think you'd want to watch me do all that die cutting. And what I did was, if I was die cutting out the back of the car, I die cut all 3 of them out. So I just worked with 1 die at a time. And if I was doing the fender, I did all 3 of the fenders. If I was doing the wheels, I did all the wheels. And it was a lot easier that way. And then as I was pulling them off the packaging and I would get done with, the fender, then I would put it on my magnetic sheet. And just that way I didn't lose any pieces, and I kept them real organized. And I was able to fit all 3 of these die sets. Right now I'm replacing my tape runner because I'm going to use quite a bit of tape runner, and it was out. But anyway, I got all 3 die sets to fit on one of my magnetic panels and envelopes. And I thought I would keep them together anyway because they go together. And so I just put them all on one magnetic set. And I think I'll show that later. But any of the excess tape that's hanging over, I'm just tucking it in. And I did that because of the metallic. Sometimes it's hard to get it to glue, the glue to set. So I'm just using the tape runner for that. And so this birthday card is going to have some dahlia, and I can't think what that color is from Spellbinders, in the teal color there. But I'm using the brushed black cardstock from Spellbinders for my tires, so they've got a little bit of a fleck to them, and they're not just solid black. It's like I've got some tread on them. So there's the back end of that. And then we've got this seat, which I just laid there, and we've got a trim piece. I'm going to use the white trim piece on here and get it laid down, and then we'll get the seat laid down on there. Now I am using the backs of the packaging for the inspiration and looking how they assembled it. And this is how they assembled the back seat. And I wasn't sure that I was getting it exactly right, so I'll kind of fiddle around with it. I had it right the first time, but I just didn't think it looked right, so I thought I'd see what it looked like. But I'm going to lay it down just like that. And then that's like the back seat of our convertible car. And I'm trying to get it laid down on there just right. And so I'm fussing with it. And there we go. So next we've got our windshield, and I'm going to go ahead and get it attached. And that's our windshield. Now for this one, we've got a present and balloons. We don't have any passengers in our car. So we can go ahead and put the windshield on and the steering wheel and not have to worry about gluing our people in. So next I'm going to bring in these tiny little silver pieces that are the like the chrome to the tail lights. Oh, actually, sorry, I take that back. Right now I'm using the mirrors, the side mirrors on the dash. And they're metallic, so I'm still sticking with that tape runner. And so I've got two silver mirrors, side mirrors. And then I've got, it looks like I'm going to bring in the silver tail lights. And these are the outline pieces. And then you have little tiny pieces for the brake lights. I'm just getting all the pieces. And then we've got a package there, and we've got a lid to the package, and we've got a bow to the package. And so right now I'm just going to continue on with that tape runner, and I'm going to bring in that white sheet so that I don't get a bunch of tape all over my glass mat. And then we're going to need some tweezers for these tiny little pieces, and we're going to get them laid down on the back of the car. And then in the very center of that is where you're going to put your actual brake light, or your tail light, whatever you want to call it. And I'll use red for that. I could have used the dahlia for this and actually matched it up, but I did two brake lights with red, and then I did one with orange for the Halloween card. So this is where we're going to insert those tiny little pieces. And I'm using these trays from Spellbinders to keep all of the pieces. I was worried about these tail lights, and then I was also worried about the puff to Santa's hat because they were just really tiny. If you like the tiny bits, this one's for you. I love them. The die cutting and the die assembly is kind of my thing, and so I don't mind messing with all these tiny bits. It reminds me of being a little girl with paper dolls, and I always enjoyed that. So this is the lid to the present, and I'm trying to get it lined up on there. I kind of had it crooked, and I think I pull it off and put it back on and get it lined up better. And I just used some patterned paper for the gift box. You can hardly see it, I think, here on camera, but it's got some pinks and some teals in it, real light. And I'm just going to set it on the back of the car, and I'm laying it down first, and then I'll put the, I guess, the luggage rack or the package rack on the back of the car. And I've die cut it out of silver as well, and we'll get it laid down on there. And I think we've mostly got this assembled. So now we're ready to start building our card. I laid that aside so it would dry because it was kind of wet from all the ink. And I'm just going to get it laid down on there. And it looks like I needed a little bit more glue on my luggage rack. And so I'm going to pinch it down on there and try to get it to stay down. I think I get it stuck to my fingers. Maybe not. Anyway, so I'm positioning my car on here, and I'm going to go ahead and get my panel laid down on here. I decide that I'm going to bring those inks back in and kind of create a halo effect on this card. And so I'm just bringing in one of the first ones that I used on the top part of the card. It was the darkest. And then I'm going to bring in my Uncharted Mariner, which is a darker, and I'm going to go around it and just kind of add kind of a hazy, smoky look to the card and kind of have a little halo in the center. So this is where I bring in the Uncharted Mariner, and I get my other blending brush and kind of go around there and darken the edges even more. And then I'll come back in with the other color and do it again. And like I said, this is kind of a long video, so I appreciate you hanging in there with me. I think you're going to like all three cards. I was pleased with them. I'll be interested in hearing, so this is my question for you to put in the comment box, which one of the three cards you preferred. So I've got, like I said, it did take me a while to make this, so I came back in with my panel, and I'm going to get it laid down on my card base, and we've got a little white edge all the way around that, and I think that kind of looks nice to frame it out. And then we're going to bring our car in. And we've got these happy, you know, the bottom of our car says birthday, and these balloons actually have the happy, Happy, in them. And I'm just laying them out in order. And we've got them. And we need to, I realized that I forgot to do the backer piece for the balloons. And so I'm going to have to bring in that die and then do all of my backer pieces for those balloons so that my letters will show up nicely. But then it'll say happy birthday, and that's what we're going to do. So I'll go off camera and bring in the white for our balloons, and we'll get each one of these glued down and laid on its shadow base. Or I should say highlight base, because it's going to show the letters very nicely. And I just rotated the colors that were in the car to use on the balloons, just to kind of keep my color scheme the same. And we'll get them all laid down on there. And I think I actually sped this video up 2.5 times just so that it wouldn't be so long. But it is still, you know, almost a 32-minute video. So like I said, I appreciate you hanging in there with me. So I'm going to bring in some of my floss because I thought you don't have a die for the balloon ribbons. And so I thought, what am I going to do? And I had some floss that was in the right color for the ribbon. And so I've got a teal, and I'm just going to use this and kind of cut some varying lengths. And I'm not measuring, I'm just kind of eyeballing it. Some will be shorter, some will be longer, and I probably used a little bit more than what I needed, but it'll work out fine in the end. And I like the effect that the floss had on this, and I think it comes together nicely. So we'll just do the same thing on all 5 of our letters. And there we go. So we'll get the floss and everything out of the way, and we're going to position our card down here, and I'm going to figure out how I'm going to do this. And I kind of like how they're laying there with the strings being squiggly, and I'll try to recreate that. I won't get it exactly, but we'll try to recreate a little bit of squiggliness with the floss. And so I'm just eyeballing it. This is how I'm going to go, and I'm thinking, how am I going to do it? So I'm going to try and run those, because these balloons are coming out of the car. So I'm going to try and run them through my windshield so that they look like they're actually in the car. So I'm just taking some of my glue and getting these laid down where I want them and trying to clean up the glue that's seeping out of there. And there we go. So we'll kind of bring these together. And I thought about, for a minute, I thought, well, I could put a knot in them. And I thought, no, I can't do that. So I just trimmed it down. And this is where I'm like, how do I, okay, it doesn't look right like that. I need to stick it through my windshield and kind of pull it out the bottom. And I'll pull it out, and I get it kind of tight, but I want it to be kind of, you know, my strings to be kind of wispy or willowy. And so I'm going to get some glue on here, and then we're going to try that again and see if we can't. And I thought it'd be easier if I did it upside down. And so I'm going to pull them through there. I'm going to grab a hold of those strings. And now I've got it too tight and it's not wispy, so I'll loosen it up a little bit and press it down. And I'm going to have to add some glue here, there, and everywhere to get it. I had one of them that I thought was just too blousy, so I'm going to try to tuck it down. And then I'll have to, like I said, I'll have to add some glue here, there, and everywhere to get my strings to be laying where I want them to lay. Tucking in the corners and making sure it's really glued down. And I've got some of that tape runner on my package. And so I'm using my eraser because I can't find my glue eraser. And I'm cleaning it up. And I think it looks really good. Now we're going to move on to our second card. And this is our Halloween one. I thought we'd go in order of birthday to Halloween to Christmas, kind of like the calendar. And we're going to use this purple, oh, what is this? This is Spellbinders cardstock. And we're going to get it laid down on there. And I've got a little bit of an edge there, so I'm going to go to my guillotine and trim it off. And then I'm going to use this spider web paper. And you can see it's got a purple pattern on the back that's fun. And this is actually creepy and spooky and creepy paper from Cat Scrappiness. It's 6x6 premium cardstock. And I thought would look nice with this. And they actually did some kind of a spider web on the example that was on the packaging. And I thought, oh, that'd be cute. So I'm going to take kind of my inspiration from the packaging. And I've already assembled my car because all of the pieces that I could, so that you wouldn't have to watch me do that again. Now we've got a skeleton. Actually, right now I've got the lady. And this is the lady's hair here. And that's her neck and her back, or her shoulders. And I'm going to put her hair on there. And I used the green, and I thought it's super fun. And we've got a black dress for her. And so we're just going to put a bead of glue down there, and we're going to lay her black dress just across her shoulders. And oh my gosh, is that cute or what? Adorable. She's going to ride with a skeleton. And then she's got a little witch's hat. And I'm going to grab it with my tweezers if I can get a hold of it. And we'll just put a little glue on her head, and we'll lay her little witch's hat down there. And that is so stinking cute. I love it. I just thought it was adorable. I'm going to wait until I get my skeleton assembled before I, look at that. Is that cute? Before I glue her down, just so I can make sure I position them right. And he's got a cute little hat. It's not a top hat because it has a rounded. I'm not sure the name of this hat. I should have looked it up. It's a fun hat. But we've got a little strip of green that kind of matches the color of her hair. And I'm going to get his hat laid down, and we'll put some glue down, and we'll lay this little strip of green on his hat. And it'll be really cute. Try to get it lined up and pressed down. And now we've got our windshield, and we've got our steering wheel. So I'm going to get it laid down. This is how we're going to do, but I need to get my people. I'm going to want to get my people positioned before I attach my windshield to my car. And I'm just pinching it so that my steering wheel will adhere. And I'm going to put some glue on my skeleton. Then I realize I need to, his hand isn't all there, so I need to glue him down a little bit lower on my car. And there we go. And he's giving a wave. Is that cute? And then we're going to add our little gal, his little passenger. And it's so darling. I love this. Very cute. And I suppose you could use this. You could figure out other ways to use the scarecrow and the little witch in different scenes. So now we've got some. I'm just looking at the bits. I have some. I'm making sure I've got everything I need. I'm looking for. She has a broom, and I've laid the broom bristles down, and I could not find the piece that I die cut out for the broom handle. So I went to my die cutting machine and die cut another one out. And I'm going to show you. I actually did die cut them out, but somehow I lost them. So I've got it on there, and I've got my broomstick and my brush to my broom, and I'm going to clip it together, and we're going to add it to her next to the car. And we'll just pinch it down so it can adhere. Super, super cute. Now I've also got bats, and I've got some skeleton heads, and I've got some greenery. So I'm going to lay the greenery down on here, and I thought this green color would be fun to just use it for the same for it. And we'll get it laid down on the back of our car. And there are 3 pieces, the larger piece and then 2 smaller pieces so that you can layer it up. And you do get greenery in both the Christmas and the Halloween die set. I assume they do that in case you don't buy both of them. That way you'll have it. But we've got 2 skeleton head. You have 1. I die cut out 2. The image, I think, shows 3 on the packaging. I'm actually going to add a bat between them. And so I think we've mostly got our car assembled with the exception of adding our dash on there. So I'm going to come back in, and I was cleaning off my desk. I have, with the assembly of all those little die pieces, I've got quite a bit of glue on there. So you'll see me stopping and restarting where I've cleaned off my desk and tried to get some of those, that glue mess off of my glass mat so that I don't mess up my die cut pieces when I turn them over to glue them up, or my card bases. So I'm just getting plenty of glue on here in all the spots. And I'm going to get it laid down on my card base. Just double check and make sure I don't have any glue on there. And we'll get this laid down on there. And is this super fun or what? I love it. And I needed to get a little bit more glue on my skeleton's hand and his head. And just giving it a good press. And now I'm going to just lay some glue down, and I die cut out, I think it's 2 or 3 bats, I think, in the thing, and I die cut it out a couple times, so I have some extra bats. And maybe it's 2 bats, 1 big and 1 little, and I die cut it out twice. And I'm going to put a little bat there between the 2 skeleton heads on the back of the car. And then that pretty much finishes up this. Now you have 2 sentiments for this. I chose the Be Spooky. I think there's Boo as well. Now we're going to do our 3rd card, which is our Christmas card. And I'm taking my inspiration from the packaging. And I've actually embossed with one of my embossing folders. And I'm using that tunnel die set that I have used before on my channel. I'll link everything in the description box below. And I used some vellum, and I created a layer of kind of clouds. And then I'm going to bring in some fun pattern paper as well to layer underneath this. And then we'll just get this laid down on our vellum. And then I'm going to grab my pattern paper. This kind of looks like snowflakes. And so I thought I would use this for my, it's kind of a real light teal or a greeny color. And I thought it would look nice with this blue embossed panel that I have here. And I'm just going to get it pressed down. I've got a little bit sticking out there, so I'll trim that off. And then we'll lay it down on our card base. We're going to have a little tiny white edge. We'll get it glued down. This is some Cat Scrappiness premium Christmas cardstock, and it's double-sided. But I went with a more neutral pattern. And then I'm going to bring in my car. And I've got to do some assembly. We've got the car ready, but I haven't assembled my Santa or my reindeer, which are super cute. So I'm going to do that assembly. And I've got the Be Merry on the back of my car. And this is Santa's hat, and this is the other teeny tiny piece that I said I had to be careful not to lose, the little pom-pom to his hat. And then we've got the trim to his hat, another little tiny piece. And then this is his hair. And it's kind of funny. He's kind of got some scraggly little hair there that's going to hang down behind there. Super, super cute. And then we've got, this is just kind of his shoulder and his hand. And we've got the cuff, or his neck, the cuff around his neck that we're going to add. And then we'll just lay his hair kind of on top of his cuff. And that'll be his little jacket with his little arm. And we'll lay that down. So put a bead of glue there and lay that down. And then I think we're going to bring in his cuff to his sleeve next and get it laid down on there. And I think I've got it upside down, so I'll turn it around, get it laid down on there. And then I'm just going to bring it up so I can pinch all of those pieces into place and give you a little peek at it. And now I've got a black glove. And I just used that same brushed black cardstock for that. And I think it's Darling. So we've got that. And then next we've got our little reindeer, and he's got his little antlers. And I put it on top, but then I looked at the picture, and I think they're glued from the back side. So I'm going to use my tweezers and get my little antlers down there and try to get them glued down. I guess I didn't use my tweezers for that. But I'm just going to press down and try to pick them up, and then I'll pinch my tweezers on there and try to get them positioned to where they stay, and I've glued them to my finger. So we'll try again. And now we'll pinch them with the tweezers so that they can dry. And now we've got Santa and his little reindeer, and we're going to get them laid down on our card or our car. I've got some other things, I think some other elements I need to add to the car as well. So we'll get Santa glued down, clean up my glue, and we'll get our little reindeer in there. Super, super cute. And I think in the example on the Christmas one, they don't add the steering wheel, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. And I kind of offset it a little bit so that you will be able to see that the steering wheel is there. And then we'll just attach it. So there we go. I'm still cleaning up. Lots of cleanup with the glue. And I'm going to bring in the, we've got to bring in the side mirrors and assemble them just like we did the others on the first card. We didn't do it on the second card. They didn't show that as an example with that. And I'm going to, you probably don't need the second side mirror, but I'm going to go ahead and add it just because I have it. And I'm going to put the fern down on the car. And I'm just kind of eyeballing it, seeing what I want to do. Maybe I don't put that second rear view mirror down on there. And I'll just get it glued up and get it laid down on there. And position it. And it's kind of like instead of Santa's sleigh going through the clouds, his car is going through the clouds. Now I'm going to bring in the rest of the greenery and get it laid down on there. And then we've got some poinsettias that I've die cut out, and we're going to add them to our greenery and also to our card. And we've got some little leaves. I stuck a little leaf down there. And then I think I decided not to put any leaves on that fern, the greenery there, but to save the leaves that I have for the poinsettias that I put in other places on the card. Now I die cut out some vellum clouds, and I'm just going to kind of tuck one in here and just kind of add that. And then we'll bring in the rest of the poinsettias and we'll get them laid down on there. And I'm adding a leaf beside that one. and using my pick tool to get it positioned how I want it. And then we're going to put another one down at the bottom. Oh, there's another leaf. I'm going to tuck it in. I forgot to put a leaf with that one. And then we'll add another one up top. Get it laid down on there. And I'm looking at it, trying to decide if I want to put, the example shows one at the bottom, but I think I decide not to do that. And so I'm just putting some glue on my poinsettias. I'm going to bring in these Spellbinders crystal gems here, and I'm going to just add they've got these teeny tiny ones. I'm just going to add them to each of the poinsettias for the centers, just to add some glimmer. And I'll add a couple of the bigger ones to the clouds as well, just to add some shine to my card. And I'll grab some bigger ones and we'll just stick them up there in the kind of cloud area. And then that will finish off our 3 cards. So we've got Happy Birthday, super cute, Be Spooky, and Be Merry. Very cute. So I hope you like them. If you hung around this long, I thank you very much. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.